going to talk about in this video is feminism. And on the one hand, everybody now says, oh, I know what feminism is. And a lot of people are like, feminism isn't needed anymore. We're all equal now. So I'm going to just do a little riff here about my years in life and experiences in activism with feminism and my insights about feminism. And Carlene, who's been active with the Women's Center and other kind of organizations, we'll kind of just riff. This is very casual. What does the word feminism mean to you?
More equality.
Okay.
And egalitarian.
Equality, egalitarian, all the genders, everybody.
It's anti-patriarchal.
Okay. Actively anti-patriarchal.
Yeah.
Okay.
And actively anti-racist, ableist.
Okay, so see, there's where everything gets mushy. I'm totally with you on that. I'm totally with you on that. So for a time, I'll say, and I'm making this very, very simple. And as you can see behind me here and around me here, there's hundreds of books on feminism.
So clearly, it's not simple.
Yeah, it's not simple. Exactly. It's one of those it's like the word religion, right? We can say, oh, here's a definition of religion. But then there's a bazillion other books been written about religion, and religion can mean a million things to a million different people and so on. So the word feminism to me, if I had to get it down and distill it to its littlest gold nugget, I would say it's about choice. For me, that word choice would be the one word. Feminism, choice. The two words could be often exchanged. What does that mean for me? It's choice about my body, so choice about if I want to have birth control pills or not, if I want to have a baby, if I want to have sex and love with any other person, male, female, anywhere on the rainbow continuum. It's choice about my body. If I choose to be a fuller figure woman and that's my nature and that's who I want to be, or there are women who are thin and that's who they are, right? So choice is, I believe, for thousands of years, for bazillions of women, and today too, choice has been taken away from us, right? There's been, this is how a woman should look, this is how a woman should dress, this is how a woman should behave, this is how a woman should have children once she's married, and she should marry as soon as she's 18, 20, 25, depending the time, the culture. So the opposite, in a way for me, the opposite of feminism is absence of choice. Right? And I say that out loud because over the years, when I've done groups or spoken to classes, I get invited to go to schools, high school, or sometimes people imagine feminism as, I laugh about this just to be silly. Oh yeah, we wake up every day and we find a bra and we set it on fire. We wake up every day and say, today's the day I'm going to have an abortion because I like abortions. Today's the day I'm going to go find a man and just yell at him and hate him.
Because he's a man.
Because he's a man. These are ridiculous stereotypes of what feminism means. Those are just straw women that have been put up by our opponents. I don't know about there's ever been women who, let's find a bunch of braziers and set them on fire. The idea of that, I would say, my translation or distillation of it would be, how do I want to clothe my body? If there are women who don't want to wear a bra, yay! If there are women who want to wear a Madonna-esque bra that has the sort of bullet points on it, that has underwire and big straps and padding, yay! Whatever you decide to put over your nippies, that's up to you. Whatever, if you decide to have 4 children because having children is a beautiful thing to you and your body feels gorgeous and succulent and yummy while you're pregnant and you have resources to care for your babies and you want to have babies, yay! So all of those kind of things to me are about choice. Choice over our bodies and choice over our entire life cycle. Choice over our career and educational goals. Choice over how we'll live and who we will live with. Choice over what we will eat and what we will not eat. Every domain of life about choice. Now I'm going to back up a little bit and say choice is often falsely constructed too. So choice, oh, you can choose to wear anything you want as long as you look like a fashion model, and you can choose to wear anything you like as long as even when you're 70 years old, you still look like Jane Fonda, who is slim and solid and dresses well, and for all I know, she spent $1 million on facelifts, right? So there's kind of that imagining sometimes of the false choice of, oh, you can choose to be whatever you want as long as you look beautiful and sexy to the male gaze from the time you're 12 years old to the time you're 82 years old. Look at the choices you have. Revlon does it all for you. You are empowered to go to the gym 5 times a week and exercise and come home and eat diet food and all this kind of thing, right? So it's the same with choice. Some women along the way have said, I come from a white bush trash background, if you remember in one of our earlier videos, and this idea of, women can go in the workforce and they can have their freedom now. Yeah, well, some women say, fuck you, and fuck off again. In that, is it really a choice if you're so poor that you have to go work full-time at Tim Hortons at minimum wage with no benefits, and then you also have to work part-time somewhere else to still just have enough money to buy groceries for you and your one kid while you choose to live independently in a one-room dump where you can barely afford to turn the hydro on, right? That's not choice. That's not choice. So some people have imagined feminism has been, for a period of time, it was more seen as something owned by middle-class white women. If you read Betty Friedan, she was talking about middle-class lives and about women who, at that time, in that context, mostly middle-class white women, were saying, oh, I don't want to go live in the suburbs and just be a full-time mom with my 2 kids in my 4-bedroom house and the man who goes out and earns all the money. I also want to have intellectual stimulation. I also want to go get a degree. I also want to go and really be an equal, dynamic partner in the world with my spouse. Yay, yay, choice, for sure. But other women have said, what do you mean about entering the workforce? My female line for 100,000 years has been in the workforce. My mom was a cleaning lady. My grandma was a waitress. My great-grandma worked in a bakery making bread. So for some women, our whole female line, back to cave days, we all worked. And we worked in the public sphere, just we worked for crappy wages. So when someone says, oh, we're going to give you more freedom of choice, you could work at Tim Hortons or you could work at Canadian Tire. It doesn't really feel like a luxurious choice, right? Real choice means to be able, all of us, men and women, to find work in the public sphere that has some meaning to us, or that's wholesome in some kind of way, and that we get paid enough that we're respected. So that's an important part for me of choice. I'm going to flip this for a minute. Again, we talk all the time of, or there's the stereotype of feminists hate men, that we just wake up every day and we just think of a bunch of men and we just beam hate rays at them. I've had those days, but that's not my full-time preoccupation. It also means if the men in your life want to be a full-time home worker, if they enjoy baking bread and they enjoy caring for the home, and that is something they want to do, that's choice also. My previous partner was a full-time creative. Well, he's still my partner, but he's died, so I want to phrase it like that. My husband of the last 18 and a half years, when we met, he was doing pretty rugged, physical, hard work. He co-owned a fly-in fish catch and release lodge, so it involved tons of intense physical labor, carrying big backpacks and logs and splitting wood for fires and all kinds of really, really rugged, intense stuff. And his knees were ruined from doing this kind of work. and so was his lower back. So as our relationship developed, I said, why don't you come and be my wife? Why don't you come and be my 1950s wife? I make enough money and we have benefits from that job, and you could help me to focus 100% on getting tenure and building up my academic career, and I'll bring in money and you do everything else. And we had that for about 10 years before he got sick. So he did all the cooking. He loved to make pan bread, and he loved to make soup that was vegan and very complex and amazing. And he did the laundry. He did every aspect for 10 years. And it was amazing to me to have somebody who helped take care of me. It was very delicious in all kinds of ways. And we had different people would put a little bit of scorn on that, of like, why haven't you got, because the imagining out there is if you have a man's supposed to take care of you and pay your bills. So we had weird moments from the outside world as they came to accept and respect this was the choice we made.
Mm-hmm. Well, didn't you say that even when he would introduce himself, he would get weird looks from people?
Yeah, and he turned to making fun of that. My last name, as you may remember, is Transken, so he would say, I'm Mrs. Sai, and he'd shake people's hands, and he'd say, I'm Mrs. Transken, and he'd shake people's hands, which for a 6'2" guy who was 220 pounds and had shoulders like this, would always get a big smile from people. And then some of them would say, no, really, what do you do for a living? What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? And he'd play with them some more, I do make soup. I do make a lot of soup.
The best.
The
Laundry.
best. Laundry, yeah. All those kind of things.
Master folder.
Yeah, so he was doing full-time homework and care work, and he was doing what millions of women have done forever. And he was pleased to do it. It worked for him and it worked for me. So when I say choice, for me feminism is choice. It's all of that stuff, integrated, layered, rich, and fluid throughout the life cycle. I would hope that maybe in the future, all kinds of people would, in their love relationships, say, okay, you go back to school for a year because you want to go get your master's, and I'll go and earn money, or the next year you do this, or 2 years or 5 years. When you find someone who loves you and who's prepared to be fluid with you over the life cycle, that is actually the magic. That's hot and sexy. That's super young. That is a type of profound sharing and connection with another adult person to build a life together and take turns. Take turns so that both of you through the whole life cycle get to have choices around what you're going to do every day, how you'll bring money and resources to the household or the family, who will do what type of work in a good way. There's always crappy work in a life of taking out the garbage or cleaning the cat boxes. So turn taking, right? Each person having a share of, let's say, the high dignity, high gloss work of life, of, earning a fancy paycheck, and also the work of who's going to sweep the floor. Take turns, be fair, love each other. So to me, that's what feminism means. Feminism also means that there are no formulas. Whether or not, whatever your body type and whatever your genitals look like and whatever your inner spirit is, you can also maybe want to be a truck driver and then put on your pink tutu and go and do ballet as a hobby. All of us, we wish to have the choice to reject all the formulas out there of, oh, these are sports that are meant for boys and men, and these are sports that are meant for girls and women, or these are clothes that are meant for males or females, all of that stuff. Mess it all up, mix it all up, make it a big smush smush. And it changes through the life cycle. Research has shown, and in our textbook for family counseling, we know that later in life, couples often start to discover their true equality. Even those families where, let's say, the man has been out there and he's been the chief of police and he retires at age 65, often that's the first time in the couple's lives that they realize, wow, both of us are home full time, We can take turns and make decisions. You make breakfast and I'll make lunch, or you do laundry and I'll do the cat boxes, or a lot of that stuff. As people age, they start to get just organically, I suppose you could say. People come to realize the depth and complexity of their own characters, and they are more able to reject the lies of the 1,001 big lies of the world of, oh, men can't do laundry, or women don't know how to use a lawnmower. Mixy, matchy, right? And feminism also means, because this is another stereotype that's out there, is women who are feminists, they hate the family. We not only do abortions and we hate men, but we hate families. And actually, feminists have done more for families than anyone else. In that, we've said all the work that women do in the private sphere, changing diapers, laundry, cooking, cleaning, all that work that must be done, we'll call that care work, caring for the home, caring for children, caring for the elderly. All of that is work. Care work is work. It takes a lot out of you to sit with someone who's dying of cancer. It takes a lot out of you to plan and organize weddings and graduations and the prom and all that ritual work. Feminists are the ones who said, hey, we all have, potentially all of us have 3 jobs. The one job of bringing some resources to the family or the home, so paycheck, right? Then we have the care of the home, who's going to fix the doorknob over there that's broken, or who's going to figure out should we buy a new vacuum cleaner or not. And then there's the work of ritual and symbol and love. So that's planning the baby shower or helping the kids with homework, let's say. So let's say all of us have 3 work spheres at least. And throughout the life cycle, that's always in movement. And whatever your body type or your inner affiliations and affections, we must share. We must share the resources of the world, the demands and duties of the world, and the love and goodness of the world to be shared. Right? And again, very simple kind of thing, right? Women in their 20s kind of go, yeah, obvious, right? But it's not that long ago that we would hear stories, and there were legal stories where, let's say, a husband and a wife, a male and a female, had been married for 20 years. He was fulfilling the traditional story of going out and earning a paycheck, and she had been in the home doing homework. And then they divorce, and the husband says, this is my house because I earn the money. This is my car. This is my farm. This is my RRSP. This is all the wealth is mine because you didn't do anything during our marriage. You were just a housewife. That's not that long ago that kind of hate happened onto women. And now we're very enlightened and we're saying, okay, you were married for 20 years. You both built a life. So now that you're divorcing, she is legally and morally entitled to half of everything accumulated during that relationship. So we sell the house, you get half, she gets half. We take the pension benefits and pension credits that he's built up through his pay, we divide that in half. All of it in half. Because her work in the home was robust, muscular, of worth, and must be affirmed legally and morally. There's still men out there who this explodes their mind. they still. Do you have any stories about that? I saw you kind of smile when I said that.
No, it just was funny. It just made me laugh.
It's still true though. There's still a lot of people out there that'll say this is his job, his money, his stuff, and she didn't do anything. She was just a housewife. Well, any of you who've been a home worker, and really made, it can be, the woman who has a garden, who cans the food, who makes, she takes 3 nickels and a dime and she makes wonderful meals for the whole family. She sews the buttons back on. She does all of that work and builds the wealth and goodness in the family, in the private sphere. He has been benefiting from that. He has been harvesting all of that in a day-to-day way. And the material resources morally have to be shared. Well, it was feminists who brought that idea to you. It was feminists who brought the idea of 1 year of maternity leave that can be split between both partners. That didn't come to you from right-wing Christian people. That came to you from feminism saying women are bringing the next generation of workers and citizens to our world. It's work. It's work to carry a baby inside your body for 9 months and then for another year to breastfeed and care and to be up all night and do all that stuff. But it was also feminists who said we want the fathers to be involved with the tenderness, the nurturing, the love, the affection, the psychological development and attachment with their children. So we have actually been very good for the family as a worldwide movement, right? So yeah, all the issues of the whole life cycle, to me, feminism belongs in there. Feminism has been revolutionary in 10,000 ways, and it's about choice. Each person choosing, each day when they wake up, having the moral and legal and emotional and celebrated choices of how will I display my body. Those of you who've watched, we now have I think 25 videos. If you've watched all of them, you'll notice some days I haven't combed my hair. And I also haven't washed my hair because I've been so overwhelmed and hectic. But then there's other days where I feel like putting on eyeliner. And I will do so because I feel like it. It's my eyelid. I will put eyeliner on. So there you go, right? How will we decorate ourselves? How will we display ourselves? Another issue, obvious issues, are around rape and around those 1,001 big lies. The feminist movement has brought us a bazillion entitlements and rights and respect around that. For a long time, the belief was, in my lifetime, some of you know I said in a previous video, I waitressed in strip joints for 13 years. And I can't tell you how many times when I disclose that to someone, their face changes, their behavior and attitude towards me changes. Certainly way back then, way more. A lot of people believed if you waitress in a strip joint, men can disrespect you. Men could follow you home. I had men follow me home in my car because they thought they would get away with raping me. They thought, oh, she waitresses in a strip joint. She must be one of those women, i.e. loose women. And I would have to very consciously, continually educate people. I work in a strip joint because I need the money and it's available at night, and that means I can go to school in the daytime, and it makes no declarations at all about who gets to have access to my clitoris or my vagina, or how often I want to have sex with who I want to have sex with and stuff like this, right? Mm-hmm. But our mainstream world still has the idea, well, if someone's let's say a survival sex trade worker, or you're a stripper, or you're an erotic dancer, or you are involved in the porn industry, or, you know, or. The idea is, well, you've proven yourself to be a loose woman, so any man can have access to you without punishment. And, hey, no, feminism has brought you the truth about that, is that 1 million women could do 1 million of those kind of jobs. It's work. It's just like any other work. It doesn't mean anybody else gets to treat us badly. And we've seen that very recently on the video that we've done and more that we will do on the Highway of Tears. There's been a lot of people when women have gone missing from Picton's story. In Vancouver, there was a man who was murdering women, and many of them were survival sex trade workers. And we got to see through that whole historic unfolding of that legal case. Many people believe that more than 50 women were murdered by this guy, and as many as let's say 40 of them may have been survival sex trade workers. And there's been lots of literature produced, lots of very scholarly research showing that the police did not investigate quickly or thoroughly because they subconsciously or consciously, structurally or individually had the ideas that how could you rape a sex trade worker? If it's a sex trade worker, they come and they go and they live high-risk lifestyles, so hey, it's not like a real rape happened or a real murder or a woman has really disappeared. And we were profoundly enlightened as a nation to start reflecting on that. Let's say if 50 bankers' wives had gone missing, how quickly would the police have investigated that? If 50 white, Anglo, Canadian-born, rich women who were legally married to an impressive man or legally connected to an impressive man, 50 politicians' daughters had gone missing, how much would the police have investigated and how quickly would they have investigated? They would have turned over every pebble and every speck of dust in Canada to find those 50 women.
Mm-hmm. It would have been heavily covered by the media.
It would have been everything from the first one that went missing. But that was not the case with the indigenous. These were disproportionately indigenous and they were disproportionately survival sex workers. And they were also disproportionately women who used drugs. So they were stigmatized in 3 ways. And feminism has taught us all women matter, all women's bodies belong to them at all times. Whether I'm a waitress in a strip joint or a survival sex trade worker, when I say no, my body is mine, full stop. No negotiation, no details. I said no, you can't follow me home. One time when I left the bar, this was one of my scary memories, I had a really tiny junky car, and this was in Northern Ontario, and so there were no buses at night, and the bar would close at 1:30, and those of you who have worked in those kind of places, many working class women have worked as servers or cleaners, and so what that meant was at 2 o'clock in the morning, so the bar closed at 1:30, I still had to do the last dishes, I had to wipe all the tables, I had to set up for the next day, so I would sometimes not come out of the bar till 2:30 in the morning. And let's say 2:30 in the morning on a Tuesday in February, and there's nobody on the streets. And these guys got around my car, so there was nobody, and these guys came around my car and I was getting my car started. And they were rocking my car and banging on my window and saying, they were very drunk, young guys, and hey, baby, come out and party with us and stuff like that. And I was terrified. I was by myself in my car. They thought this was funny. That's not funny. That was frightening. But feminism has taught us that men have been taught that it's just funny when they terrorize a girl or a woman. It's just a guy thing. Boys will be boys. Bunch of drunk boys. Again, I ask you, if I was a male banker in February, and let's say it was 2 in the afternoon, and a swarm of 4, 5, 6 guys went around a banker's car, a male banker, a male heterosexual man of a certain privilege and presentation, a gang of guys comes around his car and is rocking his car and banging on the windows, and they were saying, hey, come on out of your car, we want to ass fuck you, right? And yelling and scaring him. How quickly would the police come for a story like that? Right? They would follow it up. But because I knew there's no point reporting this, no one will investigate, and because I knew at that time, in my mind, how would I prove it even happened? It's my word to their word. Mm-hmm. And so what? I'm just a waitress in a strip joint. And so boys will be boys, right? It wouldn't have been thought of as criminal harassment or that kind of thing. So these are the microaggressions. All kinds of women, feminism has taught us, whether those aggressions, micro or macro, or all the levels of aggressions and diminishments and harms, we've all come to learn through feminism. No one has a right to do that. No one has a right to touch my body if I'm a waitress or a nurse or a teacher. There's been these ideas that women like it.
Yeah. And, like, because he's your boyfriend doesn't mean that it's not considered rape or sexual assault.
Exactly. My body is my body at all times. It doesn't matter if I'm legally married to this guy or this is my boss or all that stuff. 100% of the time, 100% of women on planet Earth have the choice to invite someone to touch them or block them. No, don't touch me. Right? These are revolutionary things, and they all help with the family. That idea of feminism saying, all we want to do is destroy the family. All the fathers and brothers and husbands out there, hey, feminism helped your daughters, mothers, sisters not get harassed at work, not get raped, not get diminished. All the efforts the feminist movement has made to help women get better pay. When your mother's sister, wife, grandma, cousin, auntie gets paid really well in the workforce, that's better for you. That's better for you, guys. I can't even think of that. There's a million ways that feminism helped families be stronger and healthier, and helped communities be healthier and stronger, and helped our whole society, I believe, be healthier and stronger. As you said, for your definition of feminism is about equality and equity, and me using the word choice. Feminism brought us a million good things, and we're continuing to do that. So I thought I'd make a little video today about what does the word feminism mean. Don't be afraid of feminists. We're good for the world.
We don't hate men.
We don't hate men, we love men.
We don't hate people. We love people.
We love people. We don't hate braziers.
We want them to be
Braziers are
happy.
great.
Not all of us hate bras either, though.
Yeah, that's right. There we go.
Some of us are pro bras.
So thank you very much for coming to watch our video today on what is feminism.
And you're welcome for not freeing the titties.
Thank you too. Bye-bye.